Hey YouTube, Coppersan here. So what does gear progression in MapleStory Global look like? It's actually very simple, albeit a bit time consuming. So instead of wasting a ton of your time on boring details and what ifs, I'll just give you a quick rundown of what I think you need to do up to Arcanes and Pitched items. Feel free to share your own progression in the comments if you have like different ideas, that's always welcome as well. This guide is for players in the heroic server. Interactive server players can follow the same progression, but they can skip a lot of steps by buying items in the auction house. Once you start out, you'll be wearing whatever you get from monster drops. If you're taking part in the burning event, you can simply just use the temporary event gear that's being provided. If you don't have that, once you hit level 140, your gloves, shoes, hat, overall, cape and weapon should all come from the pensalir set. Starting from level 100, you can also find the boss Zakum for an eye and face accessory that will go a long way. You'll also start fighting Horntail around level 140 and Chaos Horntail around level 180 depending on how strong you are for a ring, earrings and a pendant. Find the boss Arcane for another pendant and you'll find Pink Bean for a pocket slot item, face accessory and belt. And eventually around level 200 you'll want to find the boss Magnus for a shoulder and a patch. You'll eventually get a better eye accessory from Pink Bean and later from Chaos Papilladis. Once you get lucky enough though, because I surely still don't have one, even though I've been playing for quite a while now. You can also replace your golden clover belt, the one that's from Pink Bean, with the one that's dropped by Chaos Zakum for some like minor stat increase. Like for example, the earrings that you get from Hela are slightly better than the ones that you get from Horntail, but it's like 3 stats difference, so who cares. Complete the Afterlands questline for permanent totems or buy totems from the guild castle if you're rich. And of course you can get an emblem from job related quests, and some classes just get them for free. For secondaries, we either go with what we get for free from the game or events like any of the black set secondaries. For rings, there are a few routes you can take. I would just take it easy and get the Horntail one from the NLC questline that gives a coin where you can buy a ring. And after that I would just go for 3 event rings that you can get from the events that are basically on all the time now. The Awake, a Glory Guard and Tenebrous rings. And you can use the Burning ring as well if you are burning. Those event rings are quite nice because you can use special event cubes to rank them up a bit cheaper. And once you find Chaos Magnus, you can get a shoe and a cape from him that will replace your pensalir set. You can also get a cape by completing the story quest in Zipangu. This is a long story though, but the cape is pretty worth it and it looks pretty badass. When you finally start getting some mesos, you can start upgrading. Try to get everything at least to 6% stats with your potential, but keep the main focus with cubing on your emblem and secondary to get attack or magic attack if you depending on what you need, ignore defense and boss damage. Keep in mind that your emblem cannot get boss damage on the potential. And of course you can also Star Force your pensalir weapon. This is really only necessary if you're like raw dogging MapleStory and you're not actually playing with burning. Else I would just, you can just skip this and just immediately start getting the next set. But if you don't and you're gonna go the hard way, then yeah, you're gonna have to upgrade your pensalir set at least a little bit, but don't go past 10. Like, it's not really that worth it for this gear and not necessary these days. Like, characters are strong enough as is. There's also an upgrade mechanic called the transfer hammer that will allow you to save over some of the upgraded stats, by the way. Also, for the love of any MapleStory goddess, do not Star Force superior items that you get from Magnus. That's way too expensive and definitely not worth it. At least not in MapleStory Global. So once you've done all that, you've got your event rings, you got your boss set, start running the Chaos Root Abyss bosses to get a new top, hat, bottom and weapon. Besides the weapon, we're gonna be stuck with the hat, top and bottom for a long time. Like literally until basically endgame. For your Android heart, you can go with a fairy heart as soon as possible from the running events. There is one, you get one from free nowadays. Start running the boss Princess No as well. The ring obtained from this boss is pretty good, especially if you don't have any event rings yet, because this ring can actually be Star Force, so some people actually use this all the way until endgame. And you get a new secondary from Princess No as well, which is like better than your regular secondary 90% out of the time, like not for every class, but for most classes. Now that you have a bit more mesos, you can also cube and Star Force more items. Get your Fafnir gear to 17 stars. Once you get a few spares, be careful there, your items can blow up. You can also wait for a Sunny Sunday Star Force bonus event, the one that's happening tomorrow. You're also free to cube your Fafnir items if your budget allows it, and get legendary potential in your rings. I usually go for some lines of drop and meso in the rings, but if I roll like 15% main stat or something, like yeah, I'll take that. More drop rate means more node stones, more 6-job resources, more mesos, which means a faster progression. Meso lines help you get more mesos as well if you're grinding. Star forcing your items is very powerful as well, but only after 15 stars. Then you really start feeling that increase in power, which is also the point where items have a chance to be reduced to a trace to explode, so make sure that you have enough spares before you attempt to go past 15 stars. So quickly recap, you basically have all the same accessories, but now you're using the Fafnir set. And then, of course, it's time to replace those already. You can replace your weapon, shoes, cape, shoulder and gloves with the Absolab set. You can get pieces to craft this from the bosses Lotus and Damium. And yeah, of course, you'll have to complete the Scrapyard and Demon Camp weeklies. This will take a few weeks to get all the gear. I have a small tip there that you can do the weeklies on every character that you have and transfer over those pieces to the storage, so at least you'll have plenty of those. Then it's just a matter of defeating the bosses every week. Hopefully by this time you'll also find a Dominator pendant from Icarium to replace like your Horntail pendants. Then you have both pendants from Icarium, or you should have gotten one from an event as well. Also go find Helix or Helgolux, which is where you go straight to the head for new earrings, pendant, belt and ring. Gollux is very important for your progression. You'll also be using your Gollux set for a long time, so try to start early because it's quite a grind to get like the full set. If you can't fight like the strongest version of Gollux, then just keep one of the body parts alive and then go murder him. Once you get strong enough, you can also start defeating the Guardian Angel Slime. This boss drops a ring that can be part of the boss set as well as the Dawn boss set. Progression is quite fast these days, so I recommend to not upgrade your Absolab set past 17 stars. If you're using item burning items, for example, those will carry you a long way. So I would definitely start working on the Absolab set, but also in tandem I would start working on the Arcane set. So, you know, in case your gear expires and you don't have everything yet, you at least can, like, you know, mix and match some pieces together. Always go for the Fafnir set. You do need that top, bottom and hat. So go clear Chaos Root Abyss every week. I would definitely get your Absolab set to unique and everything to 17 stars. One thing you can also focus on, which, like, I would definitely get my weapon, for example, to unique or even legendary. Like, it depends. If you're on reboot and you grind a lot, you have a lot of mesos, you do your weekly bosses, and you have more mesos available, you know, why not make your life easier? But if you're, like, already one-shotting and when you're grinding and you're happy with the bossing times, then you can just leave it as is and try and save up for when you actually get that Arcane set. Do focus, though, on your weapon and gloves. Ideally, you also get your gloves to legendary and try and roll for some lines of critical damage, which will give you a huge boost in damage as well. So the next set, the Arcane set. You can work on this set by defeating Lucid and Will and collecting special drops, which you can find from monsters in the Arcane River at like certain high level areas like past Legend, I believe. But honestly, you're way better off just buying them from regular NPC stores and event stores. In a few weeks, you should be able to get most of the Arcane set and replace your Absolab items with that. If you can go into like Hard Lucid and Hardwheel parties, that's even better because there you can find boxes, which will just give you a solid piece in one go without having to go through the different steps. A lot easier, but also a lot more difficult. At this point, you should be able to swap out your black beam mark with a pep mark if you find one. If not, totally fine as well. Or you can do Commercy and get an eye accessory from that. I'm still waiting for my pep mark, which will definitely drop at any time now. I'm still using the Zakum set, and you know, the black beam mark is nice because you can also Star Force it. Like at one point, if you are unlucky and you're already doing like, and you're already trying to go for pitched items, it's like, yeah, whatever, you know, if you're strong enough, you're strong enough. No need to do this additional step. But if not, then you can definitely do that because you eventually will swap out the pep mark with the eye patch pitched drop from Damium. Your earrings will eventually also be replaced by the Commanding Force earrings by Darknell, your Gollux earrings. So usually you go from like Horntail earrings to Gollux earrings and then to Commanding Force earrings dropped by Darknell, which is definitely a lot more rare. Your pocket slot item will also be swapped out by the pitched spellbook from Will. You can get a pitched belt from Lucid, a badge from the Black Mage, and a new emblem from Seren. And finally, a new pitched pendant from Vrihila and a black heart from Lotus. And of course, the good old Berserk as well. This is my Kane's inventory, for example, and it's definitely not the best example. I'm extremely unlucky with my pitch drops. I did find the Berserk recently though, but I have one, so if I blow it up, it's gone again, but who knows. This week's Sunny Sunday should help me though, but this is my current gear. So for me, I would need to Star Force my Slime Ring and change it to the Dawn set. I would need to finally get my act together and run Princess No so I can get a better secondary and a Kana Ring. I will also Star Force my Twilight Mark and replace my Condensed Power Crystal with that. Once I get a Dawnbreak pendant, I will replace my Dominator pendant with it, and I got a Berserk recently, which I won't upgrade yet, Maybe I'll just do it if I have some messages left, but by itself it just won't be very useful, like it's one pitched item. That's also one thing you gotta keep in mind, right? Like if you're transitioning between sets, having like one piece of the Dawn set is probably not better if you get a better set effect from the regular bull set. So, you know, usually you swap around a few pieces at the same time. It's not one by one. I also need to Star Force my Fafnir items to 21 at least, for that's my next big focus. I'm quite slow. I hate Star Forcing. I always blow up my items, so I never like to do it. So if you're at this point like me, you have your Arcane gear, then it's just a matter of getting your Faf set to 21 first. Faf set is easier to get to 21 because you can get so many spares, because Chaos Rune base is so easy nowadays. And after that, I will focus on my accessories, and then I will focus on my Arcane set, because I have a lot less spares from those. And then it's just a matter of hopefully getting lucky with my pitch drops. I really need to get the Black Bean mark, or at least replace it with a Pap mark if I do ever find that. And then, of course, with the eye patch, which I probably will take a long time to find as well. And honestly, even though this video is up until Arcanes, I think for the Eternal set, you just replace whatever you can with the Eternal set, and then that's kind of it. But you can also upgrade your patch sets with even higher levels, but I'm not there yet. That's not where I'm in the game right now. So in short, usually for rings, you either want an Os ring, like I recently found, I don't want to brag, but I recently found a Roar 4. You get a Slime ring, you get the Superior Golix ring, and then you get like a Kana's Treasure, a Meister ring, or the Eternal Terror ring, or Reinforced Golix is also an option, like if you're feeling lucky, you can Star Force that. For face, you go from Zakum to Twilight Mark to Berserk, and you can also do Commercy, but eh. For the eye accessory, you go from Zakum to Black Bean Mark to Pap, or again Commercy, and then to the eye patch. And then for earrings, you go from Horntail or the Heartilla one, whatever, to Reinforced Golix, Superior Golix, to Commanding Force earrings. Belt, you go Think Bean or Chaos Zakum, whatever, to Reinforced Golix, Superior Golix, Dreamy Belt. Pendant, you go from Dominator plus Machinator to Dominator plus Superior Golix plus Daybreak, and then Source of Suffering plus Daybreak, or Superior Golix set. You know, if you're still using that set, then why not? So that's kind of the progression for the accessories. And then for your gear, you're just using your top, hat, and bottom from the Fafnir set, and then you replace like everything else as you go. So your weapons, shoes, shoulder, gloves, and cape. And I think that's it. That's progression. Simple, right? I hope so. I just named a bunch of things that I hope people will remember. Write that down, write that down. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope this was useful. And additional thanks to the Monkman for sharing his insights for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, special thanks to our members for making these videos possible. Special thanks to Niels de Konik, Rama Waar, Sebastian Hanoi, Cody Mora, Wine Lee, Backspace OTI, Ziggy Deer, Flidiot, Knifesu, Cloudfix, Michael Menjaka, Ratius, Betrayal 1489, Silvio Nato, Striker Elk, Riser RU, Max Bernhardt, The Passenger, Scotty Flies Fast, Only, Spatsty, Snafu Pop, Dewey Tran, Kanye Wu, Domi Kirch Nehammer, Dex Zoo, Dante Victory, The Wolf Drake, Lord Fazil, Mathinu Dev, Tils Kurspet, DVNCA, and Schwandro. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and happy mapling!